Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Great to be here.
Today we're tackling a question a lot of you have asked. Is energy fuels a good time to buy right now?
UUU. Always an interesting one.
Exactly. We've gathered, well, all the recent info we could find to help you get the full picture.
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
And hey, if you find this discussion valuable, please do remember to subscribe, like it, maybe leave a comment below.
And let us know if there's another company you want us to look into next time. Just pop it in the comments.
Perfect. So energy fuels, they're a pretty significant player in uranium and rare earth elements mining.
Right. And their big angle is aiming to be a leading domestic U.S. supplier. That's key.
We've pulled together some, well, pretty comprehensive insights, hopefully, to help you navigate what looks like a complex investment landscape here.
That's the plan. We'll dig into the recent momentum, the positive stuff, upcoming catalysts.
But also,
yeah, some important details that maybe suggest a bit more caution is needed.
right, trying to synthesize those different perspectives so you can walk away well-informed. Understand the why behind it all.
Exactly. Not just the what.
Okay, so let's start with the positives.
Yeah.
That recent momentum. Our sources are highlighting, well, significant uplift lately.
Yeah, it seems driven by a few things hitting at once.
Record-breaking uranium production, for one. Advancements in their rare earth project.
And those regulatory approvals they snagged.
It's not just one thing, is it? It feels like a series of positive steps.
It absolutely is. And what's, I think, particularly compelling is how they've positioned themselves strategically.
How so?
Well, they're really leaning into being that U.S. domestic supplier.
Right, you mentioned that.
And that's happening just as the market is, increasingly focused on energy security, nuclear power's role.
Critical supply chains.
Exactly. So this isn't just about digging stuff out of the ground. It taps into these bigger national priorities.
Which could be a powerful long-term tailwind, potentially.
For sure. Could give them a real edge over, say, international competitors.
Okay, so that strategic angle sounds promising. What's happened more recently, like in the last few months, that builds on this?
Well, if we look back, June kind of set a positive tone.
Yeah.
They announced new directors were elected, often signals, a fresh look at strategy.
Right, new blood.
Yeah, and they kept pushing forward on the rare earth side, especially with the potential at their White Mesa mill.
Still a key asset.
Oh, yeah. And they kept that focus on the U.S. uranium market, highlighting the Pinyon Plain mine, which is, high-grade stuff.
So steady progress in June. Then July.
July was interesting. A bit of a mixed bag from the analysts.
Ah, always fun.
Yeah, you had B. Riley initiating coverage with a buy rating, a $9 price target, sounding pretty bullish.
Okay.
But then, almost at the same time, Roth Capital downgraded the stock from buy down to neutral.
So experts not quite seeing eye to eye there.
Not at all. Shows you the range of opinions out there. But despite that, the company did keep benefiting from better rare earth element pricing.
Right, the underlying commodity prices helped.
Yeah, it gave them some support.
Okay, then August. Sounds like that was a pretty big month.
It really seemed pivotal, yeah. They reported Q2 results for 2025. Pretty impactful, highlighting record-breaking uranium production. And this wasn't just a small bump,
Real milestone.
Speaks volumes about their operations. Plus, they showed more progress on the rare earth projects, too, keeping that strategy moving.
Anything else in August?
Yep. A key leadership change. Ross Papu appointed president. Part of their succession planning, looks like.
Okay, continuity.
And maybe the biggest news, final regulatory approval for the Donald Rare Earth Project.
Ah, that is significant.
Truly significant. De-risks a major development for them. So, yeah, a lot packed into August.
Okay, so with all that background, what's coming up? What should you, the investor, be keeping an eye on?
All right, so next 3 months, some key dates. October 30th, 2025, that's penciled in for their Q3 earnings release.
Next financial snapshot.
Exactly. Then later in October, we expect ETF rebalancing.
Right, when the funds adjust holdings. Can cause some movement.
Definitely. Often leads to more trading activity. Mid-November, you might see potential institutional buys. Big funds taking positions.
Okay.
And then December 15th, they're slated for a Q4 production guidance update. So a look at what they expect for year-end output.
So putting it all together, what does this mean for someone trying to figure out energy fuels?
Well, investors are going to be watching really closely. Can they keep up those high production levels, and can they manage costs, especially in uranium?
Crucial for profit.
Absolutely. And alongside that, just continued progress on the rare earth side, especially now they've got those approvals.
It's about execution now.
Execution and building on those wins, yeah.
And connecting that to the bigger picture. Those ETF rebalancing events, potential institutional buys, they could really move the needle on the stock price, couldn't they?
They definitely could. Creates volatility, which means, opportunities and risks.
And it's not just the confirmed stuff. There's speculation too, right?
Oh, yeah. You hear acquisition rumors. Maybe Energy Fuels buys someone or gets bought.
Interesting.
Potential government incentives for domestic production. That'd be huge.
Like the IRA, but maybe more targeted.
Could be. Tech breakthroughs in extraction. Always possible. New markets for the minerals.
So lots of what-ifs that could add to the story.
Exactly. They add to the long-term potential narrative, even if they aren't guaranteed.
Okay, that all sounds, well, pretty optimistic. Company on the move, good sector. But our sources also flag some things that definitely warrant a more cautious look.
Right. You need to look at the other side, too.
First off, fundamentals.
Yeah.
The real nuts and bolts. Revenue, earnings, margins, debt, cash flow. The available info seems quite limited.
Yeah, it's like trying to see clearly through a fogged-up window.
How so?
Well, without access to the recent SEC filings, the 10K annual report, the 10Q quarterly ones, those really detailed financial documents.
Front of all the numbers.
Exactly. It's really tough to properly assess their financial health, get a granular view of how they're really doing operationally.
We know Q1 and Q2 earnings were mentioned, but...
Right, but the actual data, the hard numbers you need for a strong fundamental analysis, they just weren't in the material we reviewed.
That lack of detailed transparency makes things tricky.
Very tricky.
And that spills over into assessing their competitive position too, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we know the strategy, U.S. domestic supplier. We know they bought Radtran in 2024.
Right, strategic moves.
But a really deep dive into how they stack up against competitors, market share, pricing power, all that needs more comprehensive industry data, which, again, wasn't readily available.
Okay, what about the technicals? The stock chart?
Well, technically, the stock was trading in a range roughly between $9.62 and $12.20 during August 2025.
So sort of stuck between those levels.
Seems like it. Resistance looked to be around that $12.20 mark, like a ceiling.
Hard to break through.
Potentially in the near term. And support might be down near $9.62, $9.70, based on where some directors bought shares earlier, maybe a floor there.
But key indicators, moving averages, RSI.
Not available in the data we had, so a limited technical picture too.
Okay, now, this is a big one for many investors. Insider activity. August 2025 showed, well, substantial selling.
Yeah, this definitely caught our eye, and likely caught the market's eye too.
Let's break some of that down, Director Dennis Higgs.
He sold 22,500 shares late August, prices from $11.64 up to $12.20.
And that followed earlier sales.
Yep. 30,000 shares mid-August, lower prices then, $9.62 to $10.13. So selling into strength later on.
That's a fair chunk of shares.
It is. And he wasn't alone. Officer Celine Dreyra sold, get this, 266,595 shares.
Wow. It's huge.
Massive block. August 25th, average price $11.01.
Okay. Anyone else?
VP Scott Bakken sold too. Smaller amount, 4,629 shares, August 28th at $12.
So multiple insiders.
Yeah.
Directors, officers.
Yeah.
Selling significant amounts in a short period.
Exactly. That usually makes investors, raise an eyebrow. Makes you wonder about their view on the near-term prospects.
Yeah. There was a slight twist, wasn't there? Something going the other way.
Yeah, that's what's fascinating. While all that selling was happening, one SVP, Mikkel van Acoy, actually got equity grants.
Grants? Like stock?
Yeah. 12,060 restricted stock units and over 12,800 stock options. Exercise price, $10.69.
So some selling heavily, one getting new equity.
Right. It's a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Offers a more nuanced picture, maybe. But you can't ignore the sheer volume of those sales from the others.
Definitely notable. Okay, lastly, risks. General risks.
Well, the specific stock risks from a 10K weren't available, as we said.
Right.
But generally for uranium miners, commodity price swings are huge. Uranium prices go up and down.
That's why the story changes.
Always a factor, especially in nuclear. Operational risks, too, just the challenges of mining itself.
And broader sector stuff.
Yeah, shifts in nuclear energy policy globally, intense international competition, and just, general market ups and downs that hit everything.
Okay, let's try and synthesize this. Bring it all together.
Right. The balancing act.
We've got this company, Energy Fuels, with real operational momentum, record production, those key approvals, catalysts coming up. Looks exciting.
The bull case is compelling.
But On the flip side, significant insider selling recently, and this lack of really comprehensive financial data.
Yeah, those are pretty big butts. It's like you've got these two puzzle pieces, and they just don't quite seem to fit together easily.
So what's the core takeaway? What should you be thinking about if you're considering energy fuels now?
I think the core insight is, even with strong macro winds at your back, energy security, domestic
Oh,
supply,
that good stuff.
yeah, the signal from the insiders, the people closest to the company selling shares like that, it demands serious attention.
It's a strong signal.
It's often seen as one of the strongest signals, right? It reminds you that sentiment, especially insider sentiment, can really drive short to medium term price action, sometimes regardless of the longer term story.
So even though the sector looks good long term, the insider moves make you pause.
They really do. Which is why our analysis, just based on the info we have, lands on a neutral hold rating, a 5 out of 10.
And the rationale is that balance.
Exactly. Strong insider selling is a big red flag for the immediate future. But the sector itself and their position in it offers significant long-term potential. It's that classic tug-of-war.
And given the limited financials in those insider sales.
Right. Our sources basically suggest that neither short-term trading nor really long-term investing can be strongly recommended right this minute.
It really boils down to needing more info.
It highlights the critical importance of that transparent financial data, those 10Ks, 10Qs. Without them, and with these insider signals, even a promising story feels, well, more speculative. You need that full picture.
Okay. So there you have it. Our look at energy fuels. Trying to balance that exciting growth story
Operational success, strategic positioning.
against those cautionary flags, the insider selling, the data gaps.
And just remember, everyone, this analysis, it's for research, educational purposes only. Shouldn't be taken as investment advice.
Absolutely. And the depth is naturally constrained by the info we had available in the sources. We're working with the pieces we've got.
We are.
But hopefully this helps you understand the different forces at play, the nuances. And maybe here's a thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
When a company's operational story, the stuff they're actually doing, looks so compelling, but the insiders seem to be heading for the exits, which narrative do you weigh more heavily when you make your own decisions?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. Thanks for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast. Hope this look into energy fuels gave you some valuable insights.
We'll be back soon with another analysis.